Most of us don't realize how much power we have in deciding the why of things. In fact, it might not even have occurred to you that we each get to decide in every moment why things happen and if they are deemed good or bad in our own minds. Let me tell you a story about a man. He was living in a small village with his only son, and one day he saved up enough money to buy a horse. He brought it home and put it into the stable, and the neighbors scurried over and said, "What fortune! How amazing you were able to buy a horse." And the man simply replied, "Good? Bad? Who knows?" Later, the horse broke out and ran off. The neighbor again came over and this time said, "Oh no, this is such terrible news for you. What a loss." And again, the man simply replied, "Good? Bad? Who knows?" Sometime later, the horse returned, accompanied by 5 other wild horses. The neighbor ran over and said, "Now you are rich. 6 horses. What great fortune." The man again simply replied, "Good? Bad? Who knows?" While trying to break one of the wild horses, the son fell off and broke his leg. The neighbor commented, "Oh, this is again such terrible news. How will you run your farm? You will be ruined." The man simply replied, "Good? Bad? Who really knows?" War then broke out across the countryside, and the soldiers came through the village one by one to take any young men they could find off to war. But they couldn't take this man's son because of his broken leg. The neighbor told him, "What wonderful news for you. How great that you won't lose your son." And the man simply replied, "Good? Bad? Who knows?" Now, this story could go on and on for as long as you wanted it to, but I think that you get the gist of it. What we often don't realize is that assigning the meaning to a situation is a slippery slope to discomfort, pain, and ultimately suffering. See, here's the thing. When we assign something as bad, we're obviously telling ourselves that this situation is going to be just that, bad. We end up really setting ourselves up to be annoyed or frustrated by the experience at hand, and often that really robs us of what might be a learning experience that we can ultimately use to help us grow. But here's the trap that many people don't even realize. When we assign something as good, it also sets us up for disappointment. Because once we think we have something that's good, so for example, the man in the story, he got the 6 wild horses, and if he said, "This is fantastic, this is great," if something happened, maybe the horses escaped again, or one got sick and died, possibly, God forbid, now he had lost something that he felt he really needed. Something that was once good now becomes something bad. This can leave us often with a sense of feeling of suffering again, and lends us to feeling like we're out of control. But the who knows offers us a great freedom. When we just surrender our knowing and our assigning to the possibility that we don't know, we open up to more clarity and true knowing from our higher self, or the all that is energy of the divine. Because the truth is, our ego mind doesn't know. It likes to think that it does, but our higher self and our connection to the divine has a deeper, all-encompassing knowing, which hopefully frees us up to have more curiosity and to learn to see the signs and symbols of our experiences with a renewed vision and an openness that we can learn an awful lot from by just surrendering to who knows. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about the times that you have assigned something a meaning of either good or bad. And I want you to just sit with that for a moment and feel into your heart space and feel how that situation turned out. How it felt to assign something as good or bad. What emotions came up for you, and what ended up happening. And now I want you to take an opportunity to just be mindful later today or in the coming days and weeks, that you take a moment to slow yourself down And just before you're ready to jump and say, "That's good," or to frustratingly say, "Oh, that's so bad," and I just encourage you to breathe for a moment. And then just say to yourself, "Who knows?" And see what happens. I'm Reverend Alex Reegan, and this is the Power of Spiritual Artistry.